Hi, hello, it's Leilani from the Bible in 1 Year. We are reading Psalm 77 today. And I want to start with a statement that I believe to my bones. And that is that even though God is silent, it does not mean that he is absent. In today's reading, we see that the psalmist cries out to God for help. And it doesn't matter how long he prays, he just doesn't feel any better. And I think a lot of us can associate with him because we know the feeling. We often describe our prayer life as if our prayers hit the ceiling. And to the psalmist, it feels as if God has abandoned him. And the longer that he waits for God's rescue, the more he is tempted to wonder if God will ever show up. And he plays these doubtful thoughts in his mind over and over again that maybe God has forgotten him. Maybe God is angry with him. But even in this state of mind, he is reminded of how God saved Israel from Egypt, how God brought his people out of slavery. God rescued, and he showed up like an all-powerful shepherd to lead his flock, split a sea, and create dry ground out of ocean floors. And it is then when the psalmist realized that what God has done for others, he can do it again. It doesn't matter how difficult the situation might be, God never leaves his people without guidance and protection. You see, when Jesus was dying on the cross, he quoted from a psalm similar to this one and asked why God has abandoned him. But unlike the psalmist here who lived, Jesus died. But just when all hope seemed lost, Jesus rose from his grave after 3 long days of silence. And like God was to Israel, Jesus rose to become an all-powerful shepherd. Jesus has split open death. He turns graves into dry ground. And Jesus leads the dying from the bottom of their coffins to new and eternal life. So this is God's final word to his people, that there is no suffering or silence, power or pain that can separate us from God's rescuing power and resurrection love. So the psalmist, like the psalmist, we can always remember that God's love is measured by his cross and his power is measured by his resurrection. God's current silence is not God's last word to us. Jesus is. And I pray that we will all realize that silence does not mean abandonment. And when he said, "I will never leave you nor forsake you," he meant it. And it is in our hands to believe it. Until we read together again next week, be blessed and goodbye.